Welcome to That Guy Talks Movies. I am that guy talking movies. And on this quick video, I want to talk about the trailer that I saw for Killers of the Flower Moon, which is set to release on the October 20th this year, 2023. This film directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio, along with Jesse Plemons, and I guess a host of other, I think Brendan Fraser is in this, and it's based on David Grann's nonfiction book called Killers of the Flower Moon, which is basically about the Osage murders that took place in the 20s. The Osage Native Americans in Tulsa, Oklahoma, northeastern Oklahoma, realized that they were on a shit ton of oil, and as a result, they garnered a whole lot of wealth from that. And of course, the racist, jealous, greedy white people decided that they would murder and get rid of and figure out how to steal and take their wealth and their land. That's basically what this movie is about. I'm speaking loosely, but that is pretty much what this is. If you look at the actual description of the book, the film, members of the Osage tribe in northeastern Oklahoma are murdered under mysterious circumstances in the 1920s, sparking a major FBI investigation directed by 29-year-old J. Edgar Hoover and former Texas Ranger Tom White. Whatever. So that's what this movie's about. I'm looking forward to the trailer. I'm a big fan of Scorsese, big fan of De Niro, big fan of Leo. Scorsese is inclined to have a whole lot of integrity in his work in terms of staying true to what he's doing, and from a storytelling perspective, filmmaking perspective, and from what I understand, watching a press conference in Cannes, that the indigenous, the Osage Native Americans, him working with them, and the amount of respect and reverence that was paid, and how he went about approaching this as making an actual motion picture, a Hollywood picture about this story. He's supposed to have done a pretty good job. And that's coming from, tribe leaders and such themselves that were on the panel at that particular press conference for Cannes. Looking forward to it. The trailer looked pretty good. I remember seeing a teaser for this, I guess, a few months ago, whenever that was released. But I saw this morning, I watched that full trailer, and it looks to be pretty good. But I will say it's not really what this video is about. What this video is about is, when are we going to get a movie, speaking of Tulsa, Northeast Tulsa, speaking of the 1920s, let's say 1921 to be exact, when are we going to get a movie on the Tulsa Massacre? Black Wall Street. When are we going to get that movie? Now, this is probably going to spawn that movie. The only information that I found about a possible film was back in 2021, Morris Chestnut. There was some news that Morris Chestnut was going to be trying to bring it to the big screen, but I haven't found anything further. I don't know if it's in development. There's nothing on IMDb or in Variety. I couldn't find anything to find out what level of production, where we're on, where he's at with doing that film. So I think it's dead in the water. There are plenty of documentaries you can find on YouTube, and this is one of those stories, unfortunately, for us, for the nation, I'll say for the world, that's been kept out of schools. It's been kept out of our education. I didn't know about this until a few years ago. I didn't know the full story of that. Even if I heard minor rumblings of it, it's kind of like you put it in the category of, yes, there's been so much heinous stuff done to my people since being dragged over here to this country, right? It's like you're never quite surprised when you hear another story or another pocket of history that's been dismissed, or something that's been overlooked, or you don't know the full details of. Well, this was skirted over and kept from us. There's a lot of folk who didn't even know about this. Now that we know, it seems right to bring this to the screen, because it is a hell of a story. You've got this kid who shows up, he's a shining shoes. First of all, without even getting into the story that incited the racism against this one kid who was mistaken, goes into an elevator with some white woman and she clutches her pearls and claims that he raped her or did whatever. And that set the whole thing off. But the history of freed slaves and such moving to Oklahoma, moving to Tulsa and building their businesses and being thrown out of other Oklahoma cities by the racists and the bigots and the KKK. The KKK, I believe, was no, they weren't beginning around that time, but you had this exodus of people coming from the South, going to Oklahoma and building up their own thing, and they did it successfully. They built, again, what they termed Black Wall Street, and brothers owned hotels and owned movie theaters, and there was business and people were living large. This is the epitome of the balling and stuff that we see nowadays, which is kind of, whatever. But and then it all got burned down. 75 to 300 people were killed, probably more. One of the most disgusting acts in this country's history. And it's been overlooked. It's been hidden. It's been kept from us. It's been kept. And it's one of those things that deserves the light, a spotlight. And I'll tell you this. I don't want to see this done as some typical film where they skirt around the violence or they try to make this appealing to everybody in some politically correct way or some Hollywood way. I'd love to see someone like Mel Gibson. I know I just said a white man to do this picture. It's not that I want a white person to tell this story. I have made it clear in this channel before, like when we talked about, when I mentioned Django Unchained while talking about the Will Smith movie, I mentioned that it's possible for a white person to tell a story. And if it's a good story, it's a good story. Django Unchained being the example of that. Like Tarantino wrote and directed that. Would I want to see, or did I want to see a white person write and direct Malcolm X? No. Regarding this piece of history, this terrible piece of history, the stain, the director, the reason I brought up Mel Gibson is because I'm thinking of Apocalypto. I'm thinking about Passion of the Christ. I'm thinking about the level of detail and commitment to rawness and to what he brings to the screen. I wouldn't, there are plenty of other directors. I'm sure I wouldn't mind Brother Spike, although I got issues with Spike. Again, as I've stated on this channel, when I reviewed Malcolm X in the Criterion Collection that I got, the 4K of that, you can watch that video, whatever, link. I was impressed with his ability to capture that part in history and to capture such an incredible leader and a man such as Malcolm. So maybe Spike Lee. I just want to make sure whoever does it approaches it with that level of, we need to show how brutally disgusting this was. We need to show the violence. We need to understand it. We need to see shit burning, people being killed, shot, maimed, dragged through the streets, hung, lynched, however you want to say it, dismembered. I want to see it all. Not for the pure gratuitousness of, yeah, that's going to somehow be a thrill ride. But if you're going to put history out there and let's see what really happened. Let's not sugarcoat it. Let's not, water it down. Let's make it for what it was. So I say all of that. I'm going to end this rant because I can go on for a while with this. It fires me up, as it probably fired up anyone else who recently learned about this. Yeah, that's the thing. When you come into the knowledge of oneself, of yourself, to quote my brother Malcolm, you get fired up. There's an energy in you, and you think about it, and you're sort of like, wait a minute, what happened to my people? Wait, when did they do that? That happened where? And it sparks you up. So, don't mean to be too angry here, but again, Killers of the Flower Moon, looking forward to seeing that. I'm sure it'll be a great picture. I'd like to see someone get a proper script and a proper film in production to do the Tulsa Black Wall Street story. That's really on my mind, and I think I'll bring that up in a few videos. I will continue to campaign to see, as much as brothers and people campaigned for, recast T'Challa, right? I think we need a campaign or a hashtag to make this movie, right? I'll think of a hashtag for it, and maybe I'll come up with a whole campaign for that, and we can go. I'm sure there are others, and if there is, and you know about it, and I don't know about it, share with me. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are on Killers of the Flower Moon first. If you saw the trailer, you're looking forward to seeing that. Let me know how you feel about the Tulsa Massacre, Black Wall Street, and what you think about that. Do we need a film? Should it be gratuitous? Am I wrong to say it should be so violent and to show all that stuff, or should we have something watered down? Who do you think should direct it? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, hit the like button. I truly appreciate that. If you've not subscribed to this channel, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate that. All right. It helps the algorithm. It helps me make videos and keep going and all that stuff. And I get enthused about it, and I want to keep going, and I don't get lazy. So hit the subscribe button. And if you're already subscribed and you're watching this video and you know who I am and you've stuck with me, truly appreciate y'all. I do this for you. All right. Peace. I'll see you on the next That Guy Talks Movies.